Thank you for staying with us. Our first conversation this morning is on reducing state reliance on federal allocation. Monthly, states in the 36 states of the Federal Republic of Nigeria go to the Federal Capital Territory cap in hand to receive monthly allocation from the federal government. And many people have criticized most of our governors naming them as being lazy without looking at creative ways of generating fund internally on their own. Most of them, or some of them rather, rely solely on the allocation that they get from the federal government, forgetting that they also have one form of solid mineral domicile in their state, which can actually generate money for them. Should things continue this way, or we need to restructure the revenue sharing formula of the country as it stands? As at today, the federal government gets 52.68% revenue. States get 26.72%, while local government get 20.60% revenue monthly, which is shared between the three tiers of government: federal, state, and local government. And this revenue sharing formula was actually introduced in 1992 under the then military president, Ibrahim Babangida. Looking at the date now, this revenue sharing formula is over 30 years. People are calling on federal government to review the revenue sharing formula. Of course, getting less by the federal government, and state and local government getting more, for us to have accelerated development in our state and local government. Joining us for this conversation is Sakiru Omolaja. He's a lawyer and public affairs analyst. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Do you agree with those who are saying that most of our governors are lazy mentally, they're not creative, and some of them rely solely on what they get from the federal government in terms of allocation? And monthly, like I said, they go cap in hand to the Federal Capital Territory to receive money.
Absolutely. I don't think I can agree more with that view. And the problem has to do with this skewed, problematic type of federalism that we are practicing. The center, for goodness sake, is too powerful and controls too much of the resources that it does not generate. I keep asking, what is exactly the federal government bringing to the table? It is the constituent parts, the states, that are contributing to the center. The center amasses everything, controls taxes and everything, and then begins to give out to the constituent states. Now, a real federation will not work that way.
Okay.
A real federation will not concentrate so much power
At the central.
At the center. And that's the reason why you see our politicians killing themselves, killing one another, being so violent, being so desperate to get to the center. Because the bulk of the money is at the center. Now, what am I trying to say? Look at the agitation from the Niger Delta. Look at the complaint from Lagos State, our state. Look at the terrible example of when the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, had what was to be given to Lagos State for upwards of 3 years or more. Now, but for the ability of the Lagos State government then, under the now president of the country, ability to think outside the box, which was, I think, an expression you used before I came in, they were able to internally generate enough revenue to keep the state running.
But how many states are as viable as Lagos State?
Thank you. Should they not be viable? In the course of my having been invited to come here, I had to read, I had to do some research, and I came up with what is known, popular everywhere. No state in Nigeria does not have mineral resources. Very rich. In fact, there are 53 natural resources, mineral resources in Nigeria. There's no state in the north does not have mineral resources. Are you not bothered that part of the banditry we are having, part of why we have so much violence in the north, is because the state that should control the natural resources, gold, if found in some parts of the north, Zamfara, Kebbi, and some places, only foreigners and non-state actors are keen onto these fantastic economic resources and are using it for criminal reasons. So those states that are going to Abuja, cap in hand, are being pampered by the federal government and are being spoilt. Though I've used the word pampered, they are being encouraged to be lazy. Because if the government had listened to the cry of the Niger Delta, of Lagos, and some other productive states.
But the like Niger Delta, like you mentioned now, and some other producing states, they get 13%.
13%. Exactly.
Allocation at the end of the month.
Yes, apart from what everybody shares.
Yes.
Now we are saying that is totally unfair.
So they should be the one to give the federal government.
No, because he who wears the shoe.
Nowhere it pinches.
Nowhere it pinches. The Niger Delta is devastated. The Niger Delta is being destroyed. Some parts of the Niger Delta, they cannot fish again.
Sure.
No forestry. They cannot farm. They have lost some of their men to state murder, as it were. They were killed, Kensaro Wiwa and others. Now, should they therefore not get more than the other parts of the country? Sir, look at Dubai. Dubai does not have any gold. Either natural or whatever. But Dubai today has the largest reserve of gold coming from different parts of the world. The highest percentage of gold being deposited in Dubai. Because you can take Dubai, raw gold. You can take to Dubai, raw gold. No matter how large, they will not stop you. You can take it to their open market there and get your dollars. The reason why this is going on is that the state, the federal government, is gaining from where it has not sown anything. Let states control their resources.
Okay, if states will control their resources, will there be need for us to restructure or tinker with the constitution as we have it present?
Look at me. Thumbs up for you. Fantastic question. The constitution we are working with now, I want to be careful I use this word, it's a fraud.
It started with we.
No, okay, I like the way you are prompting me. That we there further emphasizes the fraud. We did not make that constitution. That constitution was put together by some hand-picked persons. You know this history. You know this chronological problem that has been forced upon us. We did not make that constitution. The person that were unpicked, remember, officially when we were going to have this constitution making, the late Obafemi Awolowo was called to come and contribute. We said, no, I do not want to make any constitution under a military regime. Are you there? Now, the one that was made by Abdulsalami Abubakar, even though it says fraudulently, we, the people of Nigeria, having resolved and made this constitution for ourselves since 1999. Do you not know how many constitutional conferences we have had? How every day we are clamoring.
We had one under Jonathan.
We had
in 2014.
How about President Obasanjo? Remember the Abuja confab and everything. We've been crying. Let us look at this constitution. Let us rework it. Let us rejig it. Some are even saying that constitution should be done away with absolutely. As in absolutely. That it does not reflect our need. And it is the fraud in that constitution that is still empowering some states that are not contributing anything. And I'm not kidding. That are not contributing anything to go cap in hand, to use the expression, monthly, to get what they have not worked for. Can't we learn from the Bible that he who does not work should not eat? But here, the saddest part for us is this. Jibola, do you know the saddest part? The framers of the Constitution, they have so favored some parts of the country to the prejudice of the birds that are laying the golden eggs, as it were. And how do I mean? They have said that revenue under Section 162 of the Constitution should be based on states, population, and such things. Then I said, or the Constitution now says, local governments shall be treated independently. The number of local governments that a state has will determine what fund we go to it. Right? And then, Kaduna State was created at the same time as Lagos State. Since 1967, when these two states were created, how many more states have been created out of Kaduna State? We used to have Gongola State. How many more states have been created out of Gongola states? So in a station where you were having less than 20 local governments initially, you now have about 50 local governments. I hope you're getting the logic.
I do.
The more local governments they have,
the more money
they get. Yet, Lagos State government, to serve the people, say, we are the highest population, the largest population in Nigeria today. Check everywhere. We should have more local governments to take governance
closer to the people.
Closer to the people. We created local governments. The Supreme Court said the local governments were created according to the Constitution. Howbeit, the last stage has not been crossed. So the Supreme Court used the word inchoate. And because of this proactive measure by the government then of saying, let us bring government closer to the people by creating the local government development areas, the SCDAs. 37 of them. Our money was withheld. And Yar'Adua came and did the salutary thing, the wonderful thing, released the over 20 billion naira that we were owed, and then Lagos State could now utilize this money to move forward. So what we're saying is this: the Constitution does not represent us.
So we need to rework it.
We need to rework it. They are making attempts now to rework it. But look, my people have a proverb. He who is looking for parts of a tortoise, the hands of a tortoise, the head of a tortoise, the shell of a tortoise, in necessity, needs a whole tortoise. What are we saying? Thinking with sections 7, 8, 9 having to do with local government and other things, thinking with revenue derivation, thinking with population commission, is not what will reflect what Nigeria really needs to remain together. What Nigeria needs is to give us a truly federal constitution. The constitution we have today is a unitary constitution. And how do I mean? Too much power
at the center.
At the center. States are now dependent
on the federal.
On the federal. Look at America.
Okay, now that that states are getting more money in terms of allocation from the federal government because of the removal of fuel subsidy, and they are lazy mentally. If we change the revenue sharing formula now, let's say states are getting 52.68, which the federal government is getting presently, and the federal government is getting 26 or 20, which the local government is getting in the country. You don't think they are going to be lazier than what they are now?
No.
Because they will be getting more money. Some of them are getting more money now, and yet their states are not developed.
No. You are still distributing the money from the center. Let the states contribute to the center. What exactly is the federal government doing other than maintaining Abuja? States are maintaining their states. I don't know whether you get the picture I'm painting. So let the states that generate revenue. Let me give you the popular example that we are always using when we're on set. The federal government will take tax money from Lagos State, tax from beer, from alcohol, and go and give to people who have Isba police, who say that drinking of alcohol is against their own conscience, their own way of life and everything.
But they will collect the money.
They will collect the money. You are saying that you don't like eating pork, but you can use the soup of pork to eat bread. Who are you deceiving? Are you with me? That is the injustice there. So forget about sharing the money from the top. Let the states that are generating the money declare what they have generated. They have the one, it is this expression, monkey they walk, baboon they shop. Let the monkeys who do the work of stealing the banana, stealing oranges and everything, let them sit down to share and say, okay, Baba, federal government, take this portion to maintain your Abuja, to maintain your soldiers, to maintain the police. But remember, we are going the way of state police. If we are going to the way of state police, and you will not allow us control our resources, we are joking. The reason why...
It will just be a replica of the federal police.
It will be a replica of the...
Lack of equipment, lack of vehicles.
With the amount of money available to the federal government, are you not sad that our policemen were being paid as low as 50,000 naira a month? How can they be loyal? When at a checkpoint, on a good day, each policeman can make more than 50,000 naira. And what we are saying is this: look, whatever is the problem with the Constitution, let us be honest enough. Now they are falling over themselves to amend the Constitution quickly because of the bombardment of insecurity. But we are saying with dedication, with passion, look, either a confab or by whatever name's called, let us have a new constitution.
Who should bail the cat?
Thank you. The state governments are there. The state governors are there. Let state governors, they have the governors forum. Then they come together and make a representation, send a bill to the National Assembly. Remember, we are supposed to be having our representatives in the National Assembly. But between you and I, are they representing us?
Some are representing us well.
I think I like that. That is a fair comment, very, very fair comment. But what percentage? Now, I won't pursue that any further. Some are representing us well, no doubt. Now, look at what a senator said when reviewing the salary being paid to our soldiers who are being killed like cockroaches at the war front by ISWAP, Boko Haram, ISIS, whatever. And the man said, maybe he's pretending, I don't know. Maybe he's trying to impress others, I don't know. He said senators are making too much money. He said as a senator, it takes over 200 million naira a month. Meanwhile, soldiers are not being paid well. He asked on the national television, how can they be loyal? Our policemen, how many of them have cameras, sophisticated gadgets that they can use? Now, if your phone...
Barrister Omolaja,
yes, sir.
So how does these issues that you have raised now, how are they connected to the revenue sharing formula that we have presently?
No, we are saying that we need to tell ourselves the bitter truths. That the revenue sharing formula is a reflection of the fraud of the country that we call Nigeria. And how do I mean? That center, I keep repeating like a bad record, is too powerful. Let us have states. If a state generates 10 billion every month, let this state give the federal government 1 billion.
Okay.
Let the state use 9 billion to develop roads, build schools, build health centers, raise a state police.
Okay, so what would now happen to federal roads, federal hospitals in those states?
This is where I am not so intelligent.
The federal government is getting less of what it is getting now.
Wait. This is where I'm not so intelligent too. Let me confess. This is where I get confused and I'm not so intelligent. When you call some roads, so-called roads, federal roads, are these roads only in Abuja? The so-called federal roads, do they not pass from one state to another state? The states that have these roads, why don't you allow them to come together to maintain the roads that connect them?
Instead of Abuja maintaining those.
How can Abuja maintain road in Ikorodu? How can Abuja maintain road between Ikorodu and Shagamu? I don't want to insult anybody. When some ministers who were from the West were appointed as ministers, people from that region jubilated. Our roads will be fixed. Unfortunately, our roads were not fixed.
And that was because of politics.
Even though the money...
And the minister is from your side.
I didn't mention anybody's name. I want to go back home. Even though the money was allocated. Jibola, I'm going back home.
He's not a member of the ruling party.
Wait, now, it's not just that man.
Fixed.
It's not just that man. Others are now doing what he failed to do. And we are saying, the fraud of always saying federal road, I don't understand it. Roads are connected, or states are connected by roads. Sure. Let regions come together to maintain their regional roads. Part of the reason why banditry is so rampant, and these terrorists, so-called bandits, terrorists, are getting away with their blue model, finding it easy to kidnap targets, is because there are some terribly bad roads in the north, Kwara, Mokwa, Niger. We are naturally, people traveling by road, we slow down. When they slow down, they bring out the AK-47, they begin to shoot. Non-stop. I should have a matter last week in Abuja. My client could not raise the money for flight. Because to and fro.
Did you go by road?
Of course, I refused now. You see the way I'm shouting? Nothing in this world will make me go for that matter in Jikoyi, in Abuja. The poor man, each time I go for that case, he spends over 400,000 naira. Somebody who is not self-employed. And I feel sorry for him. And when he could not raise my flight ticket this time, I sat down.
You could have done it virtually.
No, we did not tell the call we were going to need it virtually. But let me just say this, please, to go back to the issue of revenue.
And the roads, like I mentioned, hospitals, schools, that are federal government owned.
Look.
So if the federal government is getting so little,
yes,
how will the federal government maintain those infrastructures?
I will still repeat. Does the federal government have to maintain schools?
Or they should be handed over to states?
Of course, now. Let me be a little selfish, or maybe a little practical. We have our model schools in Lagos. Some other states also have their model schools. Look at what schools, what standard of schools some states are building. Other than the federal character of the federal schools, what do they really have to show? The so-called federal schools now, they have been shut down because of insecurity. Yeah. Now, let me share this with us, please. Do you know that in this our Lagos state, we have gold reserve, we have coal, we have petrol, we have lithium, we have bauxite. In this our Lagos, if you allowed us to tap onto, because the fraud of the constitution says all natural resources belong to the federal government. How can you own what is not your own now? And to further drive the fraud, some jokers from the north now said, you see that petroleum in the south of Nigeria, the petrol is actually coming from Arewa, from the north, and it is being percolating down to the southeast. So, in other words, northerners are claiming that they are the owners of the petrol in the southeast. Let each state genuinely, actively, productively contribute to the center. But it should not be the center now collecting everything and giving pittance to states that are contributing. So and especially states that are not contributing, getting more. Yes?
If states are contributing to the federal post now, how would the federal government finance the National Assembly, the number of ministers that we have, buy vehicles for them?
Jibola, you know the truth. It's not coming from Sakiru Omolaja.
I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
No, I'm trying to say something. It has been submitted, and I agree absolutely. We do not need a full-time National Assembly. Our ministers, our senators, our House of Rep members should work part-time. They should have what work they are doing. They should go for legislation only on part-time basis, and they should be taking allowances, not even salaries. That will bring about dedication. But I may be talking like somebody who is not, because they will ask me, do you know how much we spend to buy form? No, to buy form, to contest, at the end of which we now get elected. The first thing they want to recoup is the money they spent in their electioneering.
Is politics an investment in Nigeria?
But that is the truth now. You know it.
I'm not a politician, so I don't know.
You are not a politician, but the role you play as a journalist, you know more than some of us. But you are not in a position to begin to take a position. That's just the problem. But you're also a Nigerian who is filling the shoes. Now, what we are saying is this. These our legislators who every year, they vote money for computers. They vote money for cutlery. They vote money for furniture. The furniture I was using while I was a grade 2 teacher is still part of my house. I show my children. When I became NC holder, the furniture I bought then is still part of my house.
You have a museum?
Not a museum, historical pieces that I show to my children. But our legislators, every year, they take millions of naira for furniture allowance. Now, the older furniture, what has happened to them? Are they buying such computers? I buy computers. Some of my computers I have used for 5 years.
So you're saying that the federal government is more or less like a Father Christmas?
It is taken from where it has not shown anything. The federal government should not be so powerful. It should be the states. The governor should be more powerful than the president. But what do we have? It is the president.
Okay, I'll take you back to my previous question. We all know that Mr. President is an advocate of, what do I call it now? Restructuring.
Yes.
So do you see him and members of the National Assembly having the confidence to change the present revenue sharing formula in collaboration with RAMFFC?
That is the Revenue Mobilization Committee.
Allocation Committee, yeah.
Let me be honest. Even though I am an optimist, but I am at the same time a realist. Answer this question, or look at this question you have asked me now. From until recently, point of view of some Nigerians opposing state police. Why did some people oppose state police? Because they were gaining from the insecurity bedeviling the country. Now they are receiving heat. Now, when you say, oh, now they are not calling as a body for state police, like let it happen yesterday. Your question, do I see this government and the National Assembly genuinely going for restructuring?
And changing the formula for revenue allocation?
Some parts of this country will resist it with their life. They will passionately resist you restructuring this country.
Just like they did with the tax reform bill then.
Of course, look, why? You want to take away their kettle of fish. You want to take away their ikokobe, where they know they are not responsible for the meat, the fish, the ingredients in the cocoa, in the pot. But they are the ones with the biggest spoon to scoop from the pot. They will not easily allow you take that away from them. That's why some are suggesting that they are actually the ones sponsoring insecurity in the country. And we are saying, it is, to use your word.
It's an allegation anyway.
Of course, of course. It is, to use your word, it is mental laziness, unproductivity, that we want to make any state governor in Nigeria say that I have no resources for development in my state. For goodness sake, Kano is a commercially viable state, internationally so, Kano. But today, what do we have? Niger State, with the huge landmass, they were dependable farmers. Benue.
The current governor is doing so well in terms of...
Benue. But the current governor doing so well, how about the insurgency that some of their colleagues are brought into the country, who are now encouraging the government to deliberately negotiate with the terrorists? So we are in trouble to directly confront the question, frontally. Look at the question you are asking as to the restructuring. Nigerians decided restructuring. I'm sorry to put it this way. I'm really sorry to put it this way. If not for the violence of Nnamdi Kanu, what they are really asking for is that Nigeria should be restructured. They are really not asking for a disintegration of Nigeria.
But it chose the wrong path.
It chose the wrong path. He and Simon Ekpa chose violence. And sir, violence will not fetch you anything. Just like the terrorists who are bombarding, embarrassing Nigeria now, will one day wake up to realize that crime does not pay. Are you with me? Therefore, I am saying restructuring we must have. But do we have elements in the National Assembly who will genuinely support restructuring? Do you know how many senators have gotten up on the floor of the Senate to say, this, our constitution, is a joke. Let us do away with it and give Nigerians a new constitution. Those who are benefiting from the fraud, those who are not contributing so much, but are taking the largest chunk of the national cake, are the ones opposing restructuring.
Yeah, but you know, in democracy, majority will have their way, and the current ruling party seems to have more members when it comes to figures in the National Assembly.
I am saying to you, I cannot trust
our... Mr. President is an advocate of restructuring.
See, Mr. President is also working for second term. Now he cannot afford to step on toes. And you call it a democracy. You cannot impose it on them. They have to discuss it. I remember, when we go by way of geographical distribution, some parts of this country are more than some other parts. Those who are asking for restructuring, those who have been in the forefront of demanding restructuring, are more from the southwest, from the southeast, from the south-south. The north-central, the north-north, and the northeast, northwest, they have not been too keen about restructuring of this country. But we are saying genuinely, like we said during the Biafran War, to keep Nigeria together is a task for that everyone. Must be done. That task that must be done, that was the slogan then, has to be genuinely, patriotically looked at and dedicated to. People will go to that National Assembly and will make submissions like Sakiru Omolaja is passionately doing always in addressing, where people will cry and will go back home and say, we have failed this country. So I am saying, restructuring is possible if the constituents, the members, the legislators in the National Assembly are willing to do it.
Okay. At the end of the day, if we are able to have our way and we have things change in terms of the revenue sharing formula, what quality of government are we likely to get at the subnational level?
Thank you. That's your question will take us to what did we have during the Western region under Chief Obafemi Awolowo. Management of our resources gave Western Nigeria the first high-rise building, the Cocoa House, in the whole of Africa. Brought about the Liberty Stadium, now Obafemi Awolowo Stadium, first in Africa. Brought about WNTV, Western Nigeria Television, first in Africa. Brought about the investment group called the Odua Group of Companies. We are investments into the future. Till today, from 1959 till today, the Odua Group of Companies, those investments are still very viable. Remember, the regions knew that this is our patrimony. This is for us. This is for our generation yet unborn. They planned into the future. They did not loot everything, steal everything to go and buy houses in Dubai, though there was no Dubai then, or America, or London. They were investing here. So, to put it directly, when you allow regions to manage their resources, like look at what is now this governor, Imo State, Hope Uzodinma. Yeah. Look at Akwa Ibom. Look at Cross River State. Look at what happened. Was it during the time of Donald Duke in Cross River State, Tinapa? How they were generating revenue so much from tourism. You get it? So when states are allowed to control their resources,
things will change.
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
The southeast of Nigeria, their greatest problem is erosion. But we now have states building roads. Look at the governor of Edo State now, Okpewolo, what's his name? Look at the bridges he's building now. Look at the roads he's doing. He said I may not be able to talk much, but people of Edo will see what I'm doing.
So things will be better than what we have.
He has brought back Edo line.
States are allowed to control their natural resources and get more allocation from
the federal government. It's the best way to go about. Then you will see people being proud of Nigeria.
All right, Barrister Sakiru Omolaja, we must thank you very much for your time, frank conversation we have had today on the need for us to change the way and manner allocation is given to state in the country. And he also challenged our governors to put on their thinking cap, look at ways of generating fund locally and internally for them to improve the quality of governance in their respective state. We'll take a very short break. At this moment, when we come back, I'll be handing you over to Adebimpe Ajoy for their conversation.
The views expressed on this program do not represent that of the producer, management of Lagos Television, or the Lagos State Government. They remain the perspectives of those expressing them. Thank you for staying with Lagos Television.